Good afternoon. It's the day after Thanksgiving. Still thankful. I wanted to share that I had the most wonderful turkey with all the trimmings here in Taiwan, specially made by my lovely sister-in-law, lovingly made by a loving person. We had candied yams. We had real cranberry sauce, real cranberries. We had green beans. We had the creamy, buttery mashed potatoes. We had gravy. We had a beautiful turkey. Was enjoyed, and sending my love to Tisha right now. Today I was aiming to talk about presence, simplicity of presence, just more in the line of celebrating simplicity. And for me, simplicity is intrinsically linked with ordinariness. The sanctity of ordinariness, the celebration of the ordinary. Recognition that how ordinary existence is. Celebration of this, as I spoke earlier. As an academic, I was trying to look at things, look at the complexity of things. And that was always amusing to me. I say amusing because I had an innate understanding that of Maya, of illusion, of the illusory world of the ego, of the illusory world of the mind. And academia is nothing but another celebration, a celebration of the mind. And I always knew the mind was a fine tool. But I also knew that we didn't need to be a slave to the mind. We didn't have to listen to the mind to tell us anything. What we should do, the conditional sense, coulda, woulda, shoulda. You could have done this, you should have done this, if you would have done that. This is mind talk. This is the monkey mind in the guise of an academic. And this whole training to be more selective, be more precise. The pursuit of a doctorate is narrowing and narrowing and narrowing confines of your target, of your target topic. And the processes of coming up with your dissertation topic is exhaustive, and it stresses this. It's called a unique contribution to your discipline. This is what your topic should be, a unique contribution to the body of work, to the body of studies in your chosen discipline. Which seemed ironic to me. It's very presumptuous that anyone could come up with anything unique. Nothing's new under the sun, after all. So folklore, folk wisdom meets academia. Anyway, this is a roundabout way of just saying that everything is so convoluted in the academic sense. But I saw it as entertainment. Much as I saw my mind was simply, again, here's we go, simply about amusement by looking at its entertainment. For entertainment purposes only. If you start looking at your mind, this slave to your mind, you want to turn that on its head. You want your mind to be a servant to you, a servant to your goals, a servant to your seeking. And to truly use it for its, as I see it, ultimate purpose. So, I always had such a hard time in my academic life to focus and narrow and pinpoint and eliminate. It was more about including instead of exclude. I wanted the grand view. I likened myself back to the old days of the Renaissance minds, where one individual would be so bold, in today's arena unheard of, to want to envelop, to want to expand the field of interest rather than narrow it. This in itself, this opening up, this expansion, this inclusiveness, in my mind, made me a unique contribution to my specialty. A unique contribution was through inclusiveness, not exclusiveness. So needless to say, it was a long battle for me. But through complexity, through the pursuit of making things as complicated as possible, driven by doubt, looking for every single alternative solution, proposition, proposal, possibility. It's convoluted. It's in the end, it's an exercise in futility. But it does. There's the other side. Through complexity, I found simplicity. And this is what I celebrate. To be content with being a man of simplicity, a simple man. A man seeing, feeling, believing until these perceptions, until these senses were no longer useful or necessary. Seeing is believing. Oh, that's really good because both of them are misdirected at best. Entities. Seeing is believing. So that means not seeing is not believing? I'm not sure. But there's a folklore, again, folklore. But this transcendence of the five senses is, in my mind, what the sixth sense, where the sixth sense begins. You begin to understand another sense if you leave the other five behind. You journey into the realm of the sixth sense. And this sixth sense is found by connecting through the crown chakra to the energy that, for my use, upward. But it's really expansion in every direction. There we go with expanding, enveloping. And the last pitfall in this leaving the senses behind, accepting the maya of the ego, recognizing the shortcomings of the mind when used for perception. Because the mind would lead you to believe that not only is the ego reign supreme, but everything out there is reality. What you see, what you experience is reality. And then you come to learn that it's quite the opposite. And this is a process of getting your priorities straight, I guess. But by going through complexity and coming out the other side is simplicity. And when you understand at a certain stage of your development, you start to understand what non-duality really means. You're taken. I always use, is life, is our wandering through life, is it a result of our free will, or is it a result of our destiny, our karmic debt, or our ability to leave our karmic debt behind and exercise free will? So there came a time when I had this experience of duality, losing its separateness, becoming cohesive, non-duality. So now if someone asks me, destiny, predetermined, I would say yes, 100% destiny, predetermined, karmic driven, cause and effect. And the other side, if I looked at free will, our ability to transcend the restrictions of time and place through exercising our God-given free will. And I would say, yes, I embrace you 100%. We're products of free will. So then, all of a sudden you're able to entertain, you're able to sustain, you're able to accept, you're able to understand that these two are both equally true. This resolves, this is the end of duality. It's when you see the unity. You experience the unity of you and it's inclusive you, all beings, all forms of life, no matter what dimension, no matter the realm, are united. United in the spirit of the infinite. And that's all there is. Now when this happens, it's natural, I think, in the natural order of things, to think that this understanding, which is a precursor to, at least for me, was a precursor, or happened during my 2-day awakening experience into abiding awakening. Unlike other non-abiding awakenings I'd experienced in the past, this gift of, I felt it was a gift. It was definitely given to me by my two Buddhas that are always with me. And it's Roger Bacon, the Franciscan monk, 13th century, 14th century Franciscan monk, and Dhammo, Bodhidharma. This gift was to see for the Maya, the illusion, the final illusion of opposites, which is a basis of most of our existence, a basic acceptance of most of our existence is that there's that and this. There's you and me. And when that disappears, the abiding enlightenment, the abiding awakening process is occurring. And I've heard before of the great belly laugh, and for me the experience was, and who's me? Who's me, my? Who's I, me, my? I don't know. But stuck with the words that we have. The experience was the great belly laugh. I found it so amusing that diametrically opposed what I had previously conceived as love, hate. Of the dynamics of what the universe consisted of up to this point was separation and division. And it's the finding no peace, finding the solution doesn't lie, there must be something greater than separateness and division, the yearning for unity, the yearning for exclusiveness. Inclusive, sorry. Oh, exclusiveness. Exclusiveness is what, ironically, is a trap arising from this occurrence. Something in the baby Buddha phase, I call it. Upon the initial abiding awakening, the baby Buddha, you're a baby in the eyes of the witness. And this challenge is to feel like, aha, the belly laugh, the great laugh, when I can say destiny and I can say free will, and both are equally so. And the world doesn't explode. My head doesn't explode. This is simply the stuff, the makings of what is. But this separation, this division is gone forever. And the fact that we labored under such illusion for so long is a source of the greatest mirth. I've never laughed harder than I did about this reconciliation, about this ability to accept, to understand, to grasp the oneness, the non-duality. Previously, not being able to understand that is the source of this mirth. I laughed so hard that I think the neighbors were startled, and laughed so long. But an interesting thing is this laughter morphed into a sadness. It morphed into tears. And I understood the laughter much more than I understood the tears. But the tears I know now is that the veil of darkness has been lifted. The midnight of the soul has been greeted with the sunrise. But there's a loss, there's a mourning process that goes along with this. Everything that you thought you were, the world was, and everything was, is no longer sustainable. You can't play the game any longer. And after this, I'm looking for the word. This experience, the overwhelmingness of this experience, is certainly not what I expected. I probably wasn't put off by the laughter, but I didn't really understand the tears, as I said earlier. But again, laughter, tears, one and the same. Tears is an aspect of laughter, laughter is an aspect of tears. Happiness is an aspect of sadness. Love is an aspect of hate. Free will, destiny, they're aspects of each other. The either or is set aside as the useless paradigm it truly is. So coming out of this, the baby Buddha stage, I think the next challenge was what to do with this understanding. Can't really share. You're a baby Buddha. You're not mature enough to offer anything that will sound to anyone other than your journey into darkness. Joseph Conrad. Wow, this person is having a psychotic episode. And indeed, it might be difficult to separate this abiding awakening with or from a psychotic experience, especially when seen from the outside. From the inside, you know what happened. There's no denying it. It's not sunshines and la-la and flowers and bliss, and it's blood, sweat, and tears. But that makes it no less. In fact, in my mind, it makes it more beautiful than a la-la land that I probably thought, and I'm blissed out forever and ever. I'm in a perfect state of perfection, if you will. Anyway, when you come through this experience, it's very easy to think that somehow you're special. And it's the maturation. This is the baby Buddha spending time. It's a rebirth. You're born again. You're born again as a baby Buddha. And for me, the baby Buddha was me, lying on a cold, hard sidewalk, abandoned by all that had comforted me in the past. Utterly alone. And it's the maturation process that you find the unity, that you find a voice if it's your destiny to share. You find the voice, but only in maturity. Buddha maturity, which I experienced and I calibrated and I listen to the eyes. 8 years to 1. So 1 year on, 1 year after awakening, abiding awakening, you're an 8-year-old. 2 years, 16. Well, you don't do the math. Math is not my forte, but do the math. I know 5 years would be 40, wouldn't it? 6 years, 48. 7 years, 54. Now, somewhere in my mind, maturity, the number that sticks with me because I love numbers. And that's really what motivated me to sit before you today and share was numbers, the magic of numbers, and I'll get into that in a second. But 48, I have no way to support this, and that's a personal observation and love of numbers. 48, which just happens to be the year that I was born, 1948. But I don't think the resonance of 48 was when I became a mature man. It's the age that I've felt the mantle of maturity as a human being. And it stands to reason that at 48, 6 years on after abiding, 48 was a mature, the dawning of the maturity of a Buddha, of your Buddha existence. And it's this time that if you're going to share, if you're going to teach, if you're going to be an example, well, to be an example, you have an opportunity. You don't have to do anything. You just are. But if you're going to share, I think around 48-year-old Buddha, at least in my case, had the maturity to begin any kind of meaningful sharing. And sharing is the very personal exercise, very personal. I never would speak to what might happen for anyone or to anyone other than myself. And I think the Buddhas of antiquity and the present do nothing except share to those who are ready to listen their personal experiences. That's the true Dharma. That's why Dharma, the teaching, is so beautiful, because each of us carries the seeds for the flowering of our own Dharma, our own expression. And this is the work of a mature Buddha. I just saw recently that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And the bottom half of that is when the student is ready, the teacher disappears. Again, I'm sharing, this is certainly so for me. They take you to the precipice. They, by through example, show you that it's in the realm of possibilities. Abiding, awakening is within the realm of possibilities. That's what a true teacher imparts. So to go back to this feeling of a baby Buddha, that you're exclusive, that it's not inclusive, that somehow you're separate from the rest and you get it and they don't. And you want to shout it from the rooftops because you want company. It's the natural course of things, isn't it? But through humility, through equanimity, through evenness of being, you start to see that you're not special at all. It's the opposite of special, which is ordinary. And again, ordinary contains special, and special contains ordinariness. But the point of today, what motivated me to share this with you today, is that this is the 333rd day of the year. And threes have special meaning, 33. But 333, for me, symbolizes completeness.